So while we're waiting for the projector to come on, it's coming out. I'd like to introduce to you Wouter. He's a filmmaker from Holland, and he came to his first Plum Village retreat about 4 years ago. And Wouter has been, since he first came on retreat with Plum Village, he's basically been taking almost all of his time to try to share Thay's teaching and Plum Village practice with people through the medium of film. And so I wanted to maybe, I don't know if you want to introduce the piece first, or if you...
Maybe you can do it.
Yeah, so he's worked on a film for teachers, to water the good seeds in teachers, to help them to bring mindfulness into the classroom and applied ethics. And he's also done one in Spanish, both in English and Spanish, and as well shared with Latin American Sanghas, a film that shows Thay's teaching and monks and nuns teaching Plum Village practice throughout the countries in South America. He went with a group of monks and nuns, including me, to South America. And I think I was most impressed that at the end of that trip, many of the monks and nuns said, "We've never seen a layperson who's able to travel with the monks and nuns like you, who can be so mindful and aware of what he's doing." So maybe I pass to you. Yeah.
Should I have the microphone?
Yeah.
Dear Thay, dear brothers and sisters, first of all, I want to thank the monastic community for the beautiful aspiration they expressed on New Year's Eve, vowing to do their best to follow the footsteps of Thay, of their ancestors, and following the example of Mother Earth. I was deeply touched by the beautiful text, beautiful spoken both in English and in French. A couple of years ago, Thay was sitting here and standing here. It was in the spring of 2014 that he had a beautiful, all of his talks are very beautiful, but it was a remarkable talk for me because in one and the same Dharma talk, he said, "You have to give your best." And he repeated, "You have to give your best." And of course we can wonder, what is it to give our best? Dear Brother Pháp Lưu talked about giving our best, watching everything that happens in our mind, in our thoughts, in our hearts, all the emotions that are cooking there inside. And we can also do our best outside in the world. And the simple thing is that in June or July 2011, I read a book by Thay, written by Thay, and I was deeply touched even in the first pages. The book was called, in Dutch, Hier en Nu, Here and Now. And on the first page was said, don't make a battlefield of your life. And at that moment, I was doing that. I just came back from 6 years living in Peru. I just broke up with my girlfriend, came back to Europe, and I was making a battlefield of my mind. And reading all the pages, there was a resonance in every word, in every paragraph, so much so that I thought, not only me, but the whole world should know about this. I come, not only myself broke up, but I come from a broken family. My parents divorced when I was 8. I have 4 brothers. And after 14 years of marriage, my mother decided it would be better for my parents to divorce. My father was a baker and a drinker, alcoholic, and that is a very difficult combination to drink and to have to wake up early in the morning. I don't see the monastics doing that, nor the lay friends in the morning waking up so early. So my mother raised 5 boys by herself. She was a very diligent woman, but we didn't have nor my father, nor as a small kid, we didn't have the tools to handle the strong emotions that come with any kind of separation, I suppose. So when I was reading that very first book by Thai, I thought the whole world should know about this, and especially children in schools. So when I finished the project that I was working on, and then I got in contact with Plum Village, I went to a first retreat in Germany, met with Brother Pháp Lưu, sat down with Brother Pháp Lưu, Pháp Lai, and Sister Jewel was still there. And they invited me to come over to Plum Village, and soon after they invited me to come over to Toronto to film an educators retreat called Happy Teachers Will Change the World. And the first film that we made together came out of that.
So now Wouter is working on a film which is based on our Wake Up Earth retreat last year, as well as a film about Liberia, about the practice going to Africa. I don't know if you want to share a little bit about those 2 projects.
Yeah, I can do that. I don't know what. Maybe I first start with Liberia, and then we come to the Wake Up Earth and show the clip.
Just like a minute each.
A minute each. Okay. Let me be short. Maybe I can stand up. I know that our dear friend Christian is here. Can you stand up, Christian? Our dear African friend. The Liberia story is very long, but the simple thing about negative seeds and positive seeds is I believe this. Christian was was a general during the civil war in Liberia, has seen awful things, has lived through very complex situations, but with the abilities of being a general and with the experience of combat, people come to him to ask to fight more, to keep on the fighting going, and to nourish the unwholesome seeds. But there has been a time in his life that he said, I don't want to have any war, not outside nor in my mind. So he chose not to have war and not to live war. And even more so, people come to him and offer him $50,000, $100,000. There's an organization, an American organization called Black Waters. They came to him, to Liberia, offering that. And he says, no, I don't do that. So he's a good example, like many people are good examples. And I find it important to tell the story of Christian and of Annie and of some other peace workers in Liberia, and to share that with the world. So that's that about the Liberia project. Thank you, Christian. And Christian is diligently cleaning the bathrooms, the toilets.
Of Upper Hamlet.
With a lot of concentration and clarity, and
not an easy task.
And a lot of joy. He's singing most of the time, and he has a beautiful white smile. The other project we are working on is the Wake Up Earth. I proposed, when I heard that 400 young people, wake uppers, in the age from 18 to 35 were gathering last summer in August for a retreat, and it was called Wake Up Earth. I said, we should film that and share that also with the world. That's a beautiful example, or that can be a beautiful example of how we and young people can live peacefully, mindfully, in harmony with the earth. And if we heal ourselves, we will heal the planet. And if we heal ourselves, we don't need the credit card, the condominium, the car, the etc. But we can just lead a simple life, as Sister True Dedication will express in this short clip that we are showing. Before coming here, I made like a film impression of what the film could become. So it's not representative of the film, but we can show a clip of 2 minutes. It shows a little bit of summer in this beautiful winter here in France.
There is nothing more beautiful than to live simply and deeply in contact with the earth and living in harmony with fellow human beings. We are a garden of hope.
Mother Earth showed me that brotherhood is in everything in life and in nature.
Mother Earth is in me, and I am in Mother Earth. We inter are.
My dear Mother Earth, I love you.
I know I am at home, my eternal home.
Thank you, Wouter. We can listen to a sound of the bell. Continue. Thank you, Wouter. To invite Lydie to come up. This in Upper Hamlet we have the French children's program every summer, and we always have volunteers who are very creative and have talents that they can offer to the children. And last summer we discovered that Lydie had a talent which is to draw, and so, well, it's a bit of a story, but we ended up with a lot of kids running around Upper Hamlet once a week doing on a dragon quest to heal an ailing dragon that lived in the monastic residence. And this became quite a joyful event that sometimes disturbed the Dharma discussion of the parents. And at the very end of it, the brothers would come out with the lion dance for all of the children at the residence. And Lydie became so inspired by this happening that she drew a map of Upper Hamlet, which looked like a treasure map for the kids. And then eventually, as the story started to grow around this, we started talking about, what if we did a book, a graphic novel, or in French, the bande dessinée, about the Plum Village Children's Program. And so we just kind of said it like that, and then a few months later, I started seeing these drawings appearing in my email inbox. And so I want Lydie to share a little bit about her path as an artist and as a practitioner.
Good morning, everybody. I would like first to thank all the Sangha and all my monastic and lay friends to support me and to give me a lot of love, not just around this project, but for all my life. So 1 year ago, I came here for the first time, and just before that, I felt really bad because a lot of things, but I felt alone and I felt lost. So I came here for the New Year retreat in Lower Hamlet, and there I learned that I didn't have to feel guilty anymore about anything. And it was funny because the sisters said to us that we didn't have to feel guilty, but we heard that we must not feel guilty. You know, like in our society, we said to us, you must do this and you must not do that. So we heard that, and after a few days, we felt guilty again about something else. And then we felt guilty about feeling guilty, you know? And it was so crazy that we let it go. We accepted this reality that we didn't have to feel guilty anymore about the past, about our parents' suffering, or a lot of things we could have inside us. Then I came back home and I came back here for the TED. And at this moment, I received a lot of joy and a lot of brotherhood and sisterhood. And you know, the parties here are without any alcohol, without any seduction. It's just only having fun, like when we were children. Just pure joy, true joy. And then I felt more strong, and I received a lot of support and encouragements for what I was doing, because I was trying to write a novel, but it was beginning hard for me to do that, and it was, like really hard to do. And I thought it was maybe a too ambitious project for me. But then I came back home and I was able to finish to write the novel, and I drew the cover and I published it, and I received a lot of support from my friends for this, because I put it all my sufferings and my reflections in this novel, and I put it also the practice from the village in the novel. And then I came back for the summer retreat, and I was so happy to be accepted. And so I arrived in Upper Hamlet for the French retreat. And after a few days, I just realized that I was not thinking anymore about my problems, about my future. And I realized that naturally my heart opened, and I was accepting that even if I didn't know what will happen in my future, it was okay. I was trusting. And so we did the treasure hunt, and then it became the dragon quest. And at the end of the retreat, Brother Pháp Lưu asked me to do this comic strip. So, like the novel at the beginning, it was like too ambitious for me. I didn't know that I was able to do it. But I came back home and I thought about it for 1 month and 2 months. And then I was looking after some pictures on Facebook, and I said, okay, maybe I can do it. So I had the idea for the first page, and then for the beginning of the second page. And I thought again about it, and it was hard because I felt alone, in my flat, far away from here. So I asked for support. So I sent it, the first pages, to Brother Pháp Lưu and to the people from the summer retreat, and I asked for support because we need the support from the Sangha. And then I was able to do 10 more pages. I said, okay, I want to do a 52 pages comic strip. So I took a notebook and I said, okay, I want 52 pages. I have 10. Okay, what can I do? I started, and further and further, because I asked for support and I was able to do more. And now the project is quite done. So we are doing the text. And
can we show them? Can we show them?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So you get a little bit of a sneak peek of the forthcoming graphic novel of Plum Village children's program called Mind Dragon.
Yeah, in English, yeah.
So what's happening here? This is
Oh, here, it's the first page. So everything is calm on the village, but, there is a light on the back, so we don't know what is happening, but there is something. So here, a monk is going out. So we see his feet, and his feet are usually calm, his way to walk, but today it's quite an anxious way. He has a problem, manifestly.
So one of the monks is anxious.
Yes. I'm sorry, but yes.
Okay.
Here it's a few pages later, and the animals come to help the brothers, to offer their support.
Apparently the monks are not sufficiently mindful.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah. Maybe just because the animals love to help, even if you are able to do it.
Okay.
They love to help, yeah.
So why does this squirrel have a cape?
Because he's a bit crazy, in fact. He thinks he can fly, but he can't. And and
that's Brother Nature, right?
Yeah.
Frère Nature.
Yeah, Brother
Where's
Nature.
Frère Nature? Are you here?
Daoshin? Are you here?
Daoshin?
Oh.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he's not here. Here it's a page where the animals are going in the village to look for children. So the badger is finding greedy.
He likes ice cream.
Yeah. And he finds some kids eating ice cream, so he's licking their face. And he has a belly ache at the end because he had too many ice creams. But the children are agreed to help the badger, so it's okay. Here it's further and further. The brother has asked the children to help, and they are following the animals. So this group is following the hedgehog, and the hedgehog is a bit shy and easily threatened. So he said, "Okay, if I have to go in the village, I want to go in the place which is more threatening." So there is a stone looking like a lion head, but the kids are threatened by it, and we will see for the text. It's just my idea for now, but it could be improved. This is when the children are arriving in the yurt and meeting the brothers.
So that's the yurt where we have the children every summer. And you can see the shoes mindfully placed outside.
In a children way. Here we have some brothers.
Is Brother Mountain here?
Here,
Brother
he's here. Translating in French.
Sure, not sure. Brother Dai Grand
Dai
Chemin.
Dao?
Is Brother Grand Chemin here? Brother Dai Dao.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
that's the brothers. And the project.
So thank you for having the courage to. I think Lydie quit her job in the factory, or no? You still.
Yeah, not for
Her
for
first
doing
novel
books,
she
but
wrote in the afternoon, working all night, and then sleeping in the morning every day. And so this is she's really taking a leap of confidence, leap of faith to dedicate herself wholeheartedly to doing this. And
it was quite hard to not return to the job and not listen my mind, but I wanted to listen my heart. That's why I am here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we have maybe a little bit of time just for one more brother to come up. Brother David, would you come? So David has been, maybe we'll start with the sound of the bell. So David has been with the Sangha for, 15 years? A long time. We first knew each other at Deer Park. And then he's a professor of eye surgery. So he trains eye surgeons a little bit everywhere in the world. And he's worked in the US and most recently in New York. Well, actually most recently in Saudi Arabia. And so he's coming back to visit us just on his way back from the Middle East. And I'd like him to share a little bit about how the practice of Plum Village and Thay's teaching has affected his life as an eye surgeon and what new places that's brought you to.
Dear Thay, dear Sangha, I'm so happy to be here today. Wouter reminded me of something that I learned and promised that I made to myself that really transformed a large amount of my suffering. Because when I promised to always do my best, I no longer had to beat myself up, which I used to be extremely good at. And when we do our best, it doesn't mean it's perfect. My best is never perfect. And sometimes my best is pretty crappy, if I'm tired, if I'm hungry, and so forth. But if it's my best in that moment, that's all it can be. And I can't beat myself up over that. It doesn't mean I can't learn and do better in the future, but also I can give up the beating myself up part. I came to the practice, I won't go into all the details because it's a long story and it's been going for a shocking number of years. But I'm an ophthalmologist. I treat patients. I do surgery. I teach. I do research. I really came to the practice really saved my life, saved my career because of the level of stress and difficulties I was under. And as my practice deepened and I became more experienced, I started sharing my practice with patients. And one of the fun games, I'll call it, I have is to try to figure out how can I share something skillfully with a patient that will help them. And then my aspiration to share mindfulness with ophthalmologists, physicians, patient care providers, expanded further and further, and has been, I'm grateful for the opportunities I've had whenever I'm invited to lecture clinical meetings internationally as well as in the United States. I always give a list of talks I'll give, and one of them was always about mindfulness and stress reduction in the clinic. And that's been given to, I'm amazed at the number of places that's accepted that, from the national meeting in Brazil to a meeting that was largely populated by military ophthalmologists in Texas. And it's been well received, and people always come up to it afterwards and tell me. And I love actually what happens even years later when someone comes up and they say, you know that talk you gave me, I've been still practicing this, and this is what has happened since then. So I'm always looking for opportunities and seeing what's available. And so it's been 6 years ago, I went to Cuba for the first time. I met some Cuban ophthalmologists came to New York. They were looking for collaboration. I said, great, I'd like to come down to Cuba to see how we can collaborate, because what I try to do kind of from a ophthalmology standpoint is I look for ways I can collaborate and contribute in different areas, and I saw this as a wonderful opportunity. And as I was going back to Cuba, then I met a friend who found out I enjoyed meditation. He said, oh, there was just a conference 2 weeks ago here, and I can introduce you to the person who is the organizer. And it was a conference there's an annual conference on meditation that happens in Havana each year in first week of April. And I'm sure they would love to have anyone here come to that. It's up to 200 people or more from all over the country, from all over Cuba, as well as from other places as well.
So mindfulness and meditation haven't really much been in Cuba until...
So there is a meditation community. There's definitely a group of people who are involved in different forms of spirituality and things. Mm-hmm. Mindfulness is not on the landscape. Mm-hmm. And there's a hunger, because each time I presented at this conference, I've been to 3 of the conferences now, as well as some other events. This photo here is...
Yeah, what's happening here?
This is actually the annual conference here. This is actually in the Palace of Bustillo, of the former president of Cuba. And after the revolution, his palace became the Museum of the Revolution. And so this is at a lecture I was giving, it's kind of usually I do lectures and workshops different ways, and it's all very experiential, all very much nuts and bolts practice. I do give one talk on update on research in mindfulness meditation. And this is actually in Cienfuegos, another town in one of the provinces where we had a weekend conference just by chance when I was there for ophthalmology reasons. It was a really wonderful, wonderful conference. I was worried I might get in trouble, but I was asked to lead the morning guided meditation, and I did that, and then I wanted to share walking meditation with people because people had never done that. And so we had about 150 people walking around this park in the central square of Cienfuegos. And I realized there were these guys watching us, and I suspected, and then my friend Juan Davila said, those guys watching us, you're all undercover police. And there's a great fear of any sort of movement meditation. Nothing happened, but I'm sure it's another page in my Cuban FBI file. So this is part of the most last year's, the 2015 conference, and one of the things I've offered each time is deep relaxation and touching the earth. And so this is actually the deep relaxation, the touching the earth portion of that took place. The conference takes place in different venues around Havana. This is in the central courtyard of the Museum of Art. And as for those who are familiar with the touching the earth, there's part of it's like your blood ancestors, your spiritual ancestors, and your land ancestors. And part of the challenge was, how do I write the land ancestors part and make it skillful? Because in the American version it says, looking up to George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King, Dorothy Day. I'm not going to say looking up to Fidel Castro and Che, because although that may be some official heads and they may have done some good things, that also bring up horrible, bad feelings for many people too. And so it was a process of working with Joaquin and Aurora, who lived in New York at that time, who are from Mexico, speak Spanish, as well as other brothers and sisters, to kind of rewrite or kind of write a touching the earth that would be applicable and skillful and nourishing for the people of Cuba. And then after I got to Cuba, I read it from my friends, and they were like, oh, okay, you still need to change these things, because if you say that our ancestors had difficult situations, someone may consider that a criticism, and that would be bad. So again, we did another revision after, I don't know how many revisions we had, but this is always like something as it's a practice that's near and dear to my heart. It's been very powerful, and the people in Cuba find the same thing. And every year after the conference, people are like, tell us more. How can we learn more about mindfulness? And so, I'm kind of like the crazy squirrel. I always have these crazy dreams and ideas, and then I try to make them come true. I don't know how to fly, but one of my ideas is to have the monks and nuns come to Cuba also, as well as other friends who we can help to start people building Sangha and really helping to spread mindfulness, because I see the hunger there and how much people have been nourished by it. This is actually a workshop I did in the School of Arts. It was a school for singing. And in other words, I was going to do deep relaxation, touching the earth, and then I got there and realized there wasn't anything to lay down on. And I saw these piles of old theater chairs in the corner, and so I said, okay, let's do this. And then I realized they were really dirty, but the students were all cool. They just knocked them off, and we did it, and we had a great time. And I think there's also one more photo of everyone afterwards, after we enjoyed things together. So I feel so blessed, so fortunate for my own practice, for being here. Coming here was one of my dreams also, one of my dreams and goals and crazy ideas. And the past 6 months, there were lots of sour bitter lemons, but that's all been transformed into some delicious lemonade that I'm enjoying in this moment.
Thank you. Thank you, brother. Thank you for your path. So dear friends, thank you for your patience. for me, I feel like our role here as monks is partly to share our practice, but also just to reflect the Sangha back on itself. And so just see this as a representative sample of all the beautiful things that I know are already going on by all of you, by everyone in the Sangha. Don't hesitate to allow your courage to flourish. Take that step. You know, water the seed of joy, happiness, and don't have the fear to actually try and realize your dream. Everything, all of us have talents, all of us have ways, even if it's just the talent of taking a mindful step or being aware of your breath. And you may find that what you already have is enough for you to transform yourself and many people. And so thank you, Wouter and Lydie and David, for coming up here. And thank you all for listening. I wish you a lot of good conditions for your practice of right diligence. We'll finish with 3 sounds of the bell.